Hello out there, this is Toy Customizer Wakeangel2K1 bringing you a review of the Transformers Generations Thrilling 30 Minicon Assault Team, also known as Centurion. Actually the way it's spelled, it's Centuritron. I guess that sounds more robotic than Centurion. Well, whatever. Centurion is packaged in its Gestalt mode, but I figured I'd start with the three Minicon's individual vehicle modes. There's Heavy Tread, the tank, Runway, the little jet, and Wind Shear, the helicopter. For a bit of size comparison of how big these Minicons are, let's get two of them out of the way so that we can just put a size comparison. This is a Cyberverse Legion figure. As you can see, the Minicon is just a little bit bigger. It's a lot wider. In terms of mass, it's much bigger, but in terms of length, it's only a little bit longer. And here is a basic or scout class figure. As you can see, though almost as long, it is significantly smaller in many respects than a basic. So that's where these guys fall. A Minicon is neither a Legends class nor a Scout class. It's somewhere in between. Okay, so let's start taking a genuine look at these guys. This is Heavy Tread. He's got that Minicon emblem instead of an Autobot or Decepticon logo, and he's got some code here. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a reference to something. His paint apps are basic. It's mostly green and black with a little bit of yellow to pick out some detailing. Now this guy, he has probably the simplest transformation of the entire Minicon Assault team. I mean it. It's literally basically 3 steps. Okay, first you open out the feet, and then you lift up the camera so everything is in context. You fold up these panels, yes, and then you hold on, you gotta get the gun unpegged a little bit. Come on. Am I really struggling with a freaking 3-step conversion here? Like, Oh, right, you gotta unpeg the hand. And there we go. Now he is a robot. How simple is his robot mode? Well, to turn him into leg mode, all you basically do is undo his torso. I mean, seriously, this guy he's basically just a pair of legs that has a face in the crotch. Yeah, he's like I said, he is the simplest guy. The tank barrel is part of his arm in this mode, which kind of looks like a big, gigantic, heavy-duty sniper rifle. Of course, it is a removable accessory, leaving him with a symmetrical pair of arms. And he has deeply recessed ball-jointed shoulders, which mean that they mostly work as swivels, except that he can do this. Yay. That's kind of cool. That he can, if he had elbow joints, he'd probably be able to pull off a cross-armed look. He has no knee joints, and he has only swivels in the legs. Swivels that can only go forwards, mind you. There is no backwards knee articulation. No backwards hip articulation. So he can sort of almost sit. Yeah, this is, I'm pretty sure that this poor guy was the great afterthought of the trio. Like, they put a lot of thought into the other 2 guys, and oh crap, we still have a whole Minicon left, and he has to be the legs. Okay, he's just a block. Yeah, this is, I mean, if you're really nostalgic for the brick style, like from old transforming toys, then this is probably going to be right up your alley. As it stands, he's probably the least impressive of the Minicon Assault team, however. Let's move on to someone a little cooler. Up next is Runway, who is an adorable little jet. He actually kind of reminds me of the Cyber Jets. He's a very cute little thing. I mean, when you look at him from underneath, he's basically just a robot. Like, seriously. I mean, look, if I stood him up like this, he kind of looks like a robot already, just with really weird body shapes. But his transformation is significantly more interesting than Heavy Tread's. Let's see. You start by pulling out his legs. His feet fold up like this, and then his legs actually come out. He has quite long legs. Then you pull you pull out the thrusters because they become the alt mode, the robot mode gun, and then you you basically just kind of fold the cockpit down to become his torso. Yeah, like I said, he's very similar to the Cyberjets, except he doesn't really have any elbow joints. But the resulting robot mode looks a heck of a lot better than Heavy Tread's. First of all, he has much better proportions. He actually has a head instead of just a face. He has, you know, nice broad shoulders, slightly narrower hips. It's a pretty good look. His thrusters can be attached to his forearm to become a really nice, intimidating double... Whoa, that popped right off. A really nice, intimidating double-barreled gun. That's pretty nifty. I like it. I like it. Paint app is a little thin in this mode. Like, they didn't even bother to pick out his eyes. I mean, they're sculpted there, but they're not painted. Might go over that later. He also has some code on the side of his cockpit. Not sure what that's supposed to be. And yeah, it's a pretty nice little Cyberjet kind of homage thingy. He doesn't have any elbow joints, but he does have nice ball-jointed shoulders that have a good range. He has ball-jointed hips, and he has a really good knee joint, as well as toe articulation. So this guy comes off a great deal more articulated than his tank partner, Heavy Tread. And you see me pathetically trying to pose him on camera. He has no ankle rockers, so it's kind of hard. But you get what I'm going for. He looks kind of cool. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's a good stance. Alright, so yeah. This is probably one of the better engineered of the trio. Runway's probably going to be most people's favorite of the trio as a standalone. So let's move on to the last member of the team. And here is the third member of this little Minicon team. Windshear, the helicopter member. The rotor spin, the tail rotor spin, big ass Gatling gun just kind of installed there on the front. Windshear is actually the reason why I bought this set. I was debating to myself, like, for a long time I thought about my Transformers collection. I thought, you know what I don't have? I don't have any combiners. I mean, that kind of sucks. Combiners are awesome, but they're just so huge and they're really expensive. I mean, the most recent combiner that came out was Bruticus from Fall of Cybertron, and he's 5 deluxe figures. And at the price points here in New York, that getting all 5 of them would cost me like $85. Plus, he'd be so huge. I don't really have anywhere to display him, and it's just I don't really have anything to do. And then they said, then this year Hasbro comes out with this nice little combiner team. Like, hey, is that thing a little too big and expensive for your money? Well, here's a nice little Gestalt combo that's the size and price of a deluxe. So it costs the same as a deluxe, and it takes the same amount of space as a deluxe, but you get to have 3 little robots that do the combining thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I don't know. Should I really just be buying it just to get a combiner? And then I found out this set's little secret, which kind of made me cave. So let's transform Windshear here. By first taking off the Gatling gun from the front. Let's see. The transformation is kind of simple on this one too. You just gotta tilt the fin back, pull out the legs. They actually clip into the sides of the torso. Bring down the belly, pull the arms out, And there it is. Windshear's robot mode. And by now you probably noticed the reason why I got this, and that's Windshear is a girl. She's totally a female character. I thought that Windblade was going to be the first official female character on the Transformers Generations line, but it turns out that she got beat to the punch by a Minicon. Yeah, I mean, just take a look at her detailings. I mean, all the details are there. She has high-heeled shoes. She has rather thin, shapely legs compared to most other characters. And if you look at the face sculpt, with the shape of the head looks very hair-like, and with that and with the very pointy small chin, it's a very feminine-looking face. This was totally intended as a female character. And that's really what made me cave. I just could not resist getting the first official female in the Generations line. Call me a sucker, but there you go. So in robot mode, the rotors on the back can still spin for whatever good that would do. You can plug in the minigun onto this connector peg on the arm, making a pretty badass looking weapon arm. Ball jointed shoulders as usual, good range. Pretty good ball jointed hips, they go all the way. And knee joints. So pretty much the same as Runway, except a little smaller. Let's assemble the whole team for a bit of size comparison. So yeah, here's Okay, so there's Windshear in the middle, and we will put Heavy Tread there on the side of her, a little taller and much thicker. And then to the other side of her, I will put Runway, whose feet are still folded in. Yeah, there's Runway, and there is the Minicon Assault team, all, you know, doing it up as a team. Yeah, they make a pretty good trio. The color schemes are a little basic. I might take a paintbrush to pick out a few of their molded in details, because they do have some fantastic molded in details. It's just that very little of it is actually picked out in paint. In fact, I think the only paint application is a little bit of gray on their faces and yellow for like cockpit windows and stuff. Everything else is just the native color of the plastic. Okay, so that's the Minicon Assault team in their individual vehicle and robot modes. Let's see how they combine. For the sake of saving time, I decided not to do the individual transformations because for this part, it actually does get a little bit complex. I gotta say, I am impressed by the engineering that went into turning these things into limbs. Well, except for Heavy Tread, his transformation is basically fold his arms up over his torso and then split his belly in half. But what you gonna do? Somebody has to sacrifice. I'm really impressed by Runway's transformation into limb mode. Like there's a whole bunch of transformation hinges underneath his wings that don't move at all for his plane to robot transformation. They're used only for his limb mode transformation, and they pull off a pretty nice looking torso, even if that's just his head down there. Also, I find it kind of hilarious that the head is formed by Windshear. I mean, if the female part of the Gestalt is the one that forms the head, does that mean that Centuritron does that mean that Centuritron would identify itself as female? I mean, it's 2/3 guy. And then I'm probably going to get people saying, there's no gender in Transformers. Yeah, shut up. Okay, so let's connect the three pieces together and form our deluxe-sized Gestalt. Alright, so you start with the hips. You see that that his little antenna kind of make a clip that go into the back of the cockpit for the plane. So you just kind of snap that together, and it does a pretty good job of hiding Runway's face. Although the whole transformation doesn't do anything to hide Heavy Tread's face. Like, man, they skipped out on his engineering more than anyone else's. Like, he has the most barely there transformation of the trio, and as a final insult, he's looking out of the Gestalt mode's butt. I mean, there is just no love for poor Heavy Tread. I can just imagine Heavy Tread is like the Eeyore of the group, like, yep, your legs, carrying you around, all I ever see is where we've gone, all I do is make sure that you guys are able to move. It's not like I'm that important. Oh well, you know. And again, the fact, I guess it's also kind of funny that that Runway's chin is sticking up out of the thing's crotch. I mean, it doesn't really look like a chin, but whatever. Okay, now let's attach the head. The head actually requires a couple more transformation steps after being put onto the body. Let's see, there is a simple peg. Where is the peg hole? Derp, derp, derp. I have no idea what I'm doing. Hold on, let me pull the camera back. Okay. How the heck does this attach? I don't see it. Okay. Gotta get these legs out of the way. Turn it around. Alright, it's time to take this off camera. Alright, I'm the idiot. I missed a step. I forgot to fold out the cockpit to expose the peg hole. I also kind of like the subtle way that the rotors are kept from spinning by being held in place by Windshear's hands. It's kind of cool the way she's literally holding her own rotors in place. Okay, so now that the peg hole is exposed, I just have to, yes, you push that on there. You gotta do a little bit of subtle repositioning. Okay. Wait, that doesn't look right. Did I put it in the right hole? What am I doing wrong? Is that supposed to look like that? Don't. You know what? I put it on backwards. Wow, I cannot brain today. I has got the dumb. Woohoo. Boy, am I a dummy today. Oh god, what am I doing? Oh, why is your head in the way now? Okay, wait. Wait. Wait, why can't... Okay. That's there. That goes there. And there's a plane stabbing her in the face. The hell? Okay, back to the instructions. Okay, you know what it was? It was because I had the plane's cockpit pushed all the way in. See, there's actually a little hole that it goes into at the bottom of the helicopter cockpit. You put the nose cone in that hole, and that keeps the chest together. I had this pushed all the way in, so the nose cone was actually going into poor Windshear's face instead. Alright, so you get the upper body, you get the head attached to the torso, and you make sure that nothing in the rotor assembly came out of place while you were doing that. Then you turn the figure around, and you do some things to the back. You bring down the helicopter tail the rest of the way. Come on, helicopter tail. Yeah, you bring the helicopter tail down like this. And then you fold the legs down and up, forming a neat little backpack. And there you go. Alright. Now, think that this is a really good Gestalt mode. I mean, the tank guy's arms are just... Heavy Tread's arms is sort of chilling out back here. I mean, they kind of work as hip skirts, but they're very clearly just a pair of arms just hanging off the back of his thighs, which is not entirely cool. Aside from that, however, it's a pretty good Gestalt mode. All the other characters' limb kibble is pretty well hidden. Airstrips. What the hell is his name? Runway. I was close, you know. Airstrip, runway. Runway's hands are hidden inside the helicopter's cockpit, so it just looks like a couple of hydraulic pistons in the torso. Windshear's legs are all folded up nicely on her back so that they don't really get in the way. Same for her helicopter mode tail. Yeah, these guys do a genuinely good job of hiding most of their original robot mode kibble, except for poor Heavy Tread. Seriously, why do they half-ass Heavy Tread so much? Okay, so articulation of the combined mode. Head does not move. There's not much in the way of torso articulation. Shoulders have the ball joints that are made out of his legs, and also the transformation joint is kind of loose and comes out easily. You can kind of treat that as an extension to the arm if you like. He has elbows, which are made out of the knees. They get 90 degrees. I guess maybe the forearms are sort of really long compared to the length of the bicep, but it's okay. The hips actually get a pretty good range. They can move around. Although the knees bend 90 degrees, but in order to actually get them to bend 90 degrees, you got to move the arms out of the way. So yeah, poor under-engineered Heavy Tread with his arms that get in the way of the Gestalt mode's knees. Like, yeah, I know, my arms are sort of a burden. Nobody bothered to engineer a way for them to transform out of the way. So yeah, the Gestalt mode's articulation is pretty decent. And he has these nice big feet, so he can stand pretty well. It's not bad. The gun also combines into one big massive thing. His peg is really tight in his hand. So yeah, you got like a big ass sniper Gatling death cannon of awesome. Yeah, this thing. I can see why Centuritron is considered like a freaking walking arsenal. If you wield a gun that freaking big, I mean, it's three guns. It's a pretty terrifying weapon. It's three kinds of ways to destroy you. You can take you out at a long distance with that sniper tank barrel. He can he doesn't even need line of sight because this thing rotates independently, so he can sweep out. While he's focusing on that one big enemy, he can just sort of sweep this thing back and forth and take out any enemy troops that are trying to get in his way. And if anyone gets up close, poof! I can just imagine fire. Like he has a flamethrower built into that thing for extreme close combat. And I really wish the peg that held the shoulder in place was a little bit longer so that it would clip more securely. Because the weight of the gun can actually pull it out. But yeah, that is the Autobots Minicon assault team. Well, not necessarily the Autobots. I mean, according to the bio, they're actually, according to the bio, these guys don't have. These guys are allied to the Minicons. They are neither Autobots nor Decepticons, so we don't know where their loyalties lie. Yep. Yeah, so Centuritron, the unaligned Minicon force of destructionation. Oh, and If you're wondering about the comic book issue that comes with this guy, it's really good. It has Minicon combiners in it, but this guy, despite taking up the entire cover, does not actually make an appearance in it. To think of that what you will. This is Toy Customizer Wakeangel 2001. This review took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, and I am signing off.